Hey guys, not long to go now before the tournament in Wellington, the weekend. Look out for my battle reports coming up next week. Following that, I'll be taking Kromac and Ikaya, but for now, I'm playing a game here against a guy that has Khador. This guy is a dude that tried to get me into War Machine Hordes a long time ago, maybe a year or two, and I didn't at the time, and then he quit the game, and I haven't been able to play him except on this one particular occasion. So quite a special little game here. It's at the FTW club, and I'm playing my Kromac list as usual. He's got quite an interesting one. He's got eIrusk, who I haven't played against before. This particular player prefers to use P-Butcher and E-Butcher, but because I've got another opponent who I'm going to be playing fairly regularly who plays those Warcasters, he agreed to try somebody a little bit different than what he normally runs with. But here's the deployment and terrain setup. That big kryptonite-looking piece in the top left is impassable, and same with the 40k terrain in the bottom right. But everything else is just hills, forests, and a wall in the middle. Next photo shows you a bit more detail as to what he's got here and how he's deployed it. You can see his army list in the description, but I'll just run through it quickly. He's got the Widowmakers, Great Bears. He's got a Juggernaut, and a Spriggan and a Devastator. He's got a Koldun Lord, the caster guy, because he had a couple of spare points, and he just picked something out of his figure case, and of course, eIrusk. But next photo shows you me. I've just set up centrally with the stones in front, and the plan here is just to find out where his guys are and send the Wolfriders after them and just advance with the line of beasts behind as I normally do. But next photo, he's got the first turn, and he upkeeps one spell on his Juggernaut at the back to give it boosted blast damage rolls, and he's also upkept, or he's put in an upkeep spell in play on the Widowmakers. I believe it was Tactical Supremacy, giving them a free move after the activation has completed. Other than that, just moving up, and in fact taking a pot shot at my stone, and because his Widowmakers came in range, they're all able to do a single point of damage to it, taking down to 1 point. So a bit silly of me to put my stones out in front against these guys, but you live, you learn. Next image, I did something really stupid here. What I decided to do was assault the Widowmakers with the Wolfriders, knowing that I could then move forward 12. Activation would automatically end because I failed my charge, so I couldn't do the 5-inch light cav movement, but during that I'd be able to throw my javelins at them and ignore the cover because they've got Hunter. But number one, I forgot how hard it is to kill these guys because they have tough thanks to eIrusk, and secondly, I underestimated his shooting back, so I was really going to get a mauling the next turn, but at least moving up the beast behind them, if they do get charged by any of the jacks behind, with eIrusk maybe giving them some buffs and feeding maybe, I can at least counterattack quite nicely here. But next photo, he moves up around here, and the prey is on the Great Bears, by the way, and just putting some spells in play, giving some focus to the Berserker, not the Berserker, the Devastator. Next image, the Devastator moves forward and runs right next to the Wolfrider and pushes it to the to my left, so it crunches up against the other Wolfrider to make it easier to hit with blast damage. But I counterslam with the Satyr, knocking the guy back into the wall. But with armor 25, I couldn't hurt him at all. Next photo, there is the first shot blast damage going up against the Wolfrider, but he misses and scatters backwards in between the Spriggan and the Wolfrider. This is where the Spriggans moved to, right next to the edge of the wall. So nothing there, but the second shot did some damage. Next photo, the Juggernaut in the background. I hope I've got the name right. It's the guy in the battle box with the gun and the axe, but he fires over the wall at the Wolfrider and hits him, killing the middle one, and after that it's just a matter of the Widowmakers blasting the other two, which had been injured by the other damage effects, and wiped all three of them out. So me really hitting myself, and for the next sort of 10 minutes I just sat there thinking, what can I possibly do? I can't do any damage to the Devastator. The Spriggan and the other jacket in the background are behind the wall. The Widowmakers are preventing me from running through the wall, and the Great Bears are held fairly far back in reserve. So after a lot of thinking, going to the next photo here, I put Bounding on the Stalker and charged him all the way across the field to attack the Spriggan. I considered putting Primal on him instead and just attacking the Winter Guard, and then sorry, not the Winter Guard, the Widowmakers, then warpathing over the wall. But I didn't want to have this guy Frenzy next turn. I wanted him to stay dangerous for a while, and what this managed to do was to knock out the Spriggan's shield and movement and almost destroy him, but giving him his Cortex and his Lance, which is really all he needed to counterattack. But this is what I ended up doing here, and of course running him hot with the 4 Fury. Next image, the Satyr moves up and just locks the Devastator in combat. Not that it really matters, because Devastator can just take free strikes from me and survive. The Pureblood moves up and sprays the Great Bears who had moved over to the right there, and kills their leader. I can't remember his name, but he's the guy that gives them the best effects. And I've got to say, I've been reading a lot of sort of anti-Pureblood sentiment and a lot of pro-Pureblood sort of posts on forums and things, and it's a very controversial model. A lot of people say that it's just, downright, inferior to the Stalker. You don't really want to take one in your list. And in some ways I agree. I mean, you want to have the Stalker, but in my list I've got the Stalker and the Pureblood. And I think that combination's good because the Stalker makes the best use of Wild Aggression. It's hard to have 2 Wild Aggression uses in the same turn. And with the Pureblood, that boosted spray, the boost to hit, boost to damage at power 14 is really, really powerful. I mean, you can't get that anywhere else. I mean, some people talk about getting like Black Clads and so forth, but the thing is, the Pureblood does it so reliably at long range and with such a powerful, boosted damage roll that you can take out guys like the leader of the Great Bears, and him having failed his tough roll, it makes a big difference. And of course, Shifting Stones coming in front of the Pureblood, blocking the Devastator from going around and, essentially getting into the back lines, and also makes it harder for the Great Bears to charge past. So after I thought carefully about this turn and completed it, I was quite happy with my position, and that, my opponent just sat there thinking for 10 minutes himself, going, damn, the move you just did with this Shifting Stones sort of foiled my plan there. And I didn't really know what his plan was exactly, but I knew that the Shifting Stones would be useful, so quite cool. And I should point out here that the Shifting Stones next to the Pureblood allow the stones to, of course, use Serenity and take away some of the Fury points. So that's one mechanic that I always neglected to use with Shifting Stones in the past, but they're just that much more powerful, given the fact that you remember how to do that. Next photo shows you a bit more of a close-up. I should have gone to this photo slightly earlier, but never mind. In fact, I can always just go backtrack and edit. And there is the Pureblood there, just 1 inch away from the stones, of course. So next photo, the Spriggan counterattacks the Stalker and heavily damages him, but leaves him with, say, 5 or 6 boxes left. And that took up 3 focus during that little round with Spriggan just hammering away at him. Next photo, the Winter Guard rifleman, I keep saying Winter Guard, the Widowmaker moves over the wall and tries for a pot shot against Kromac, doesn't do it, and then my opponent here realizes that he's actually left this model outside of eIrusk's command range for the tough rolls, so I should be able to kill him easily with the Gorax or whoever else. Next image, the Devastator doesn't do too much here. In fact, I can't remember whether it activated just at this point. So we'll go to the next photo. Yeah, here we go. The Great Bears charge in against the Gnarlhorn, who has got Invulnerable Resolve up. Great Bears didn't roll that great for their dice, and the Gnarlhorn managed to survive that round of attacks pretty well. Next image, the Koldun Lord here moves over and attacks or sprays the Pureblood, not the Pureblood, the Stalker, doing a little bit of damage, but not enough to kill him. And next photo, my opponent getting really desperate here, knowing that he must kill the Stalker to stay in the game here, shoots his own Spriggan in the back with the guns in the background, wrecking it, and of course doing blast damage onto the Stalker, but leaving him on 1 box left. So that's him surviving, and unless he can pull something out of the bag here, I'm going to be able to kill him. But in the next photo, what happens is that eIrusk pops him with his little hand cannon gun type thing, and I'm not sure if he has a hand cannon, but kills the Stalker, so that evens up the game again. However, in my following turn, I am able to send in the Pureblood against the Great Bears using Warpath killing the first one with lots of bought and boosted attacks, and Warpathing to the second one to do the same. The Gorax just moved into melee with the Devastator, just tempting him to attack, although my opponent's actually quite good. He's not dumb enough to attack with him until he's got the best opportunity. And the Gnarlhorn was in a bit of a sticky spot, but what he did is he moved over the wall, killed one of the Winter Guards, and then warpathed over to kill the last one. So what I'm thinking will happen here is that he might send eIrusk and the Juggernaut at the back in against the Gnarlhorn. If I'm lucky, the Gnarlhorn will survive and will attack back to eIrusk. If not, I can possibly move in there with a Pureblood and finish the deal. Next photo, eIrusk considered moving and putting some spell effects up, but then I reminded him that I had Counter Slam, so he hears him pulling his eIrusk model back and going, no, not going to do that. Next image, this next turn here, what actually happened here is that he sent the Juggernaut in to attack the Gnarlhorn, but the Gnarlhorn survived. But what happened was that he ran his Devastator over to Kromac and found some way of actually knocking him back so that the Gnarlhorn was out of control range. So that may mean that the Gnarlhorn then frenzies and basically doesn't have the opportunity to kill eIrusk. But the Pureblood moving over and knocking out the Koldun Lord, and the Gorax is chasing after the Devastator, trying to slow it down in whatever way it can. Next photo, Kromac obviously needs to get back inside the Killbox because it's a Killbox mission. I didn't point that out earlier, but it is. So what he does is he heals some of the damage around, keeps a couple of the upkeeps in play, and runs all the way over here. And I put my Shifting Stones of Gorax in the way of Kromac, or between Kromac and the Devastator, so that he can't run over to me as easily this time. And the Gnarlhorn does indeed fail its threshold check and frenzies into the Juggernaut, doing very little damage. The Pureblood is hanging back though. Next image here, eIrusk now charges the Gnarlhorn, and so does the Warhound, and with all of their combined attacks, the Gnarlhorn is left on just one box. So that's how close this game is at this stage. The Gnarlhorn almost dead, and if he'd killed the Gnarlhorn, I mean, really at that stage it would have just been me using Kromac and the Pureblood against eIrusk and the Juggernaut. I'm not too sure how well that would have gone down, but eIrusk failing to kill the Gnarlhorn, and what I can do after this, in the next photo, actually what I should point out here is the Devastator has killed the Gorax, which prevents me from casting Primal on the Gnarlhorn as well, so he might survive here. But Kromac is still up and running. So if we go to the next image, Kromac moves over 6 inches and puts Wild Aggression on the Gnarlhorn and turns into the Beast out, pops his feet. So next photo, he then leaps after he's gone in range to cast Wild Aggression. He now leaps over to the Devastator and just clangs at him with 2 axes and smashes him to bits, but doesn't quite remove him though. I did severe damage to him since he'd attacked and brought his armor down to 17, but I decided to keep 3 Fury points on Kromac because Kromac would definitely die if I didn't kill the Devastator and I didn't kill eIrusk. So next photo, the Pureblood moves in first, kills the War Dog, which is giving eIrusk plus 2 or 3 defense or whatever it is, and of course the Wild Aggression Gnarlhorn then bashes eIrusk in the face and kills him. So quite a good game, quite a close game, and this is one of the games that I've been wanting to have for a while, a game against an experienced player that knows some things. Of course, he made a few mistakes. He wasn't that comfortable with eIrusk. He's normally a P-Butcher player or an E-Butcher player, and I made a couple of mistakes here as well, mainly with Wolfriders, but there was also a move where I forgot to use Warpath on one of my models, and I could have got a little bit of an advantage, but other than that, a pretty cool game, and I'm glad that I went through it. But stay tuned for the Masters Battle Reports next week, guys. That's going to be awesome.